Guess who just appeared from the oven? Your Android chef, Tim Zoman. Now, in the last episode, we delivered the birthday card app. And congrats to everyone who made it to building that app. Now, imagine for a second walking into a bakery and you see a cake on the display. Of course, the first thing you will notice isn't the sugar or the flour. It's the design, arrangement, the spacing, the colors, and how everything is arranged together. That's how users experience your mobile apps. In Android, we call it the UI. Users might not notice your Kotlin code or Compose code, but they will first notice whether your UI feels clean, modern, and easy to use. That's where the power of Jetpack Compose comes in. And by the way, drum rolls. Yes! During the Google I.O., the Android team just announced they will be moving Compose fast. That means you are in the right course, because the previous Android XML code goes into maintenance and Compose takes over. So, what a better time to learn Jetpack Compose. In this series, we get to build the Compose Quadrant app, the Compose Article, the Business Card app, and the Task Manager, while understanding how layouts, rows, and columns help you build a beautiful UI, just like having the icing sugar in your cake. So, want some spacing? Ask for padding. Want some pivot elevation? Ask for cards. Want a better design? Ask for Material 3. And by the way, these projects help you sharpen your UI skills and understand how modern apps are structured. So, want some coffee? Ask your brewing machine. So, spin up your Android Studio, make sure your coffee is ready, and let's get to build these apps.
There are three practices here. So the first one is the Compose article. And as you can see from the layout, we are stacking these composable children from top to bottom. So ideally, this is a column containing an image, text, composable, another text composable, and another text composable. So the other task is on Task Manager. Again, ideally, this is another column containing an image and two texts. The other one will be Compose Quadrant. This contains a column of a text and another larger text. So this includes either two rows or two columns, depending on how you will arrange them. Yes, and then there's the solution for this code. So you can quickly go through them. Yeah, but you can pause the video. First, go through this, build them on your own. If you get stuck, you can now come and reference on the video or directly jump to the solutions and use these code base that were used by the Android team. So I'm just going to speed up my Android Studio. Quickly go to File, New Project. So first task is on the Compose article. So I'm just going to say Compose article, and then click on Finish. I'm just going to close this other one, just maximize this. So if you look at the Compose article, we do have instructions on what to do here. So we're saying set the image to fill the entire width. The first set of text should have a text size of 24 and a padding of 16. So by now, I'm pretty sure you won't need more explanation on padding and everything. So the other one was to have a padding start and end for that. Then we did, the only new thing here is text justification, which I will explain that later. It's just how your text will be spread across the UI. So we can start off here. So first thing is we will need to import our image. So I already downloaded the image. So I'm just going to resources, import, drawable, go to downloads, and then just go for this one. Yes. Import, go to density, no density, click on Next, and then just import it. So I go back here to my project where it sits, that's the UI. So I'm just gonna do this, remove that, make sure I have the preview, build a refresh, just to make sure that I can see my preview. So we can start off by cleaning these things up. So as the preview is done, so we can just remove that, gray things, we can remove those, we don't need them. We don't need this. So the first thing would be to create a composable function. So we can just call it compose article. Now, one of the important things to do here is this is not a complex UI, so we can have everything inside the column. So we don't need to define two composable functions that will call each other. So this is simple. So we can just stack everything under one column. So we will say we need a column, and then just don't like errors. Just gonna do this. Paste it here, article, and say modifier equal to modifier.padding, inner padding, and then I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna say yeah, just preview that. I'm gonna close this one here. So the first thing would be we have an image, and we said for images we will need to specify the painter. So I'm gonna say painter resource r.drawable.background compose. And then we will need a description, content description, not content scale, but content. Yeah, description. For now, you can just leave it as null. But for best practices, you will need to specify this. So if we now, we should now see our image. If we now check on the preview. So the other thing was to have text composable. So just gonna say text. Then we will leave it there. We also add another text. We're gonna say text. Just leave it there. So I'm doing this because I want us to extract this text into the string resources. So we go back to our text. We can now pick this one, Jetpack Compose tutorial, as our first one here. Then go here and say extract string, extract it. Then the next one would be on this guy here, and then put it there. Then come, just click here, find this one, extract. So remember, these are the best naming conventions. So you can go and change the name here. So the name is way too big, so we can't use this name here. So you're gonna say text underscore compose. So what was it called? So it's Jetpack Compose is compose description. Compose underscore description. So we can now use this as our name instead of the other long one. So just gonna replace that. So you can see now it looks way better. Gonna need another text. For these again, you're gonna just go here and copy this. So I'm just going to do this, but I want to go and rename it again. So I'm just going to go to value string resources. Just gonna duplicate this guy here and then just move it down and then paste those there. And then just call this one UI description. Just call it text underscore UI description. Then we're gonna need to use this. So just go back here and say our text is now string resource r dot string dot there. There we go. Now I'm gonna do a little bit of cleaning here. Don't like the way this is looking, so I'm just gonna refactor it this way, just so that it looks better. Compose, yeah. This one looks more presentable than the other one, than the way the state was. So if we go back to our main activity here and do a refresh now, you should be able to see all these are text here. But you see now the problem is everything is just centered here. Like everything is scrambled here. So we will need to follow the UI design the way it is. So we have all the spacing, padding, and everything. So if you go now to our instructions, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if we go to our first instruction, it says set the image to fill the entire screen's width. Now to do that, to achieve that, we will need to use the modifier. So remember we said the modifier is the one that does the magic of how your UI looks, how you want to beautify your UI. So you can have something called fill max width. And then for this, I want to know something here. For this column, it's taking the entire screen. This occupying the entire screen. So we need to say here, modifier equal to modifier dot fill max size. Or we can just pass that composable here as we can just pass the modifier here so that we can be able to pass it in a cleaner way later. So we can just say text in the modifier, and then from this one we can say modifier dot padding, and then add another one. We can nest this and say dot fill max size. So this, if you look at this, it says compose article is expecting a modifier. So for this modifier, we've just passed in this name here so that we can use it here. So if we refresh this, we should be now able to see the entire column. So run the application and let's see how far. So we can see now it's taking the entire width, and now we need to keep cleaning this up. So just go this one back. And then if you go, we go here. So the other instruction was, instruction number 2 was set the text to 24, a size of 24, and a padding start, end, bottom, and top. So remember we said for this, we're going to use, of course, the modifier equal to modifier dot padding. So instead of saying top, bottom, and everything else, so you can see here it's saying start, top, everything. So if we place in a default padding of 16 dp, I'm gonna say 16.dp. This ensures that just put a comment here. This ensures that padding goes across the entire, so that is top, bottom, left, and everything. So you can see it's now adding spaces. So there's no point of adding the padding of start, all, and everything. So remember again, we were to add a font size. So I prefer having the font size below. Just comma. Font size of 16, so we're saying 16.sp. Then just refresh. Yeah, that's okay. Now the next instruction was number 3. So this text here. So it's saying the second text composable, to set it to a default of default font size. So we're not going to change anything, and a padding of 16 dp, and then justify the text alignment. So here again, we just copy this padding here and paste it here. Then just refresh. Yes, you can see now it has some padding. Now we need to add something called text justification. So we just come here and say it's a text alignment. So text alignment dot justify. I want you to observe what exactly happens. So if I'm going to refresh this, you see now it uniformly ends the last characters and the first character. Everything is as aligned as possible. So if we click on control and then click on justify, and if you go and read the instruction here, it says stretches line of the text that end with soft line breaking to fill the width of the container. So it fills the entire width of the container. So the lines are broken. So we can have text alignment of start, end, and unspecified. So if you now go back, let's say you want to try something else. So let's say you want to say start. Let's see what happens. You see everything now falls back to start. Just make sure there's uniformity within the start. So if you say end, what happens? Just refresh. You see now everything moves to this end. So we can just now leave it back to justify. At least now you understand what justify means. We spread across the entire width. Also, the other instruction was on number 4. It says the text composable default size. So we are modifying it. We're adding a padding of 16 on start, end, bottom, and top. So that means an entire all-round DP, and then justify the text alignment. So in short, what you're trying to do is just replicating the same thing. Text alignment is equals to text alignment dot justify, and then add a modifier dot padding. Modifier equal to modifier dot padding of 16 dot dp, and then add a comma. And now refresh. You can be running the app. So we don't need the preview anymore. I think we are good now. Okay, there's something wrong. There's something wrong somewhere. There's so much space here. So let's see how it looks on the app. Okay, so this is where the problem is. So we are adding padding here. So we only, for the second text, we don't need to add padding all around. We just need to add a start and end. So this is where the problem is. So we only need to say here start 16.dp, and then end is 16.dp. Now refresh the app. Let's see. Yeah, this is now way better. So instead of saying start and end, we can just say vertical 16.dp. So for vertical, it's just going to add actually it's horizontal, not vertical. Horizontal, sorry. It's just going to add padding for start and end. So the other one was task manager. So this one should be a pretty simple one. So we just need to get them in a column, center them, and yeah, move the items. So the next one would be just go to next, and then just go into task manager, and then finish. I'm going to close this, just maximize this. Just say here, go to the Kotlin, go to resources, add drawable, import the task. Say density, no density, click on next, import, and we are here. So the first thing would be on, just go to here. We don't need these guys. So you can just say here is task manager. Then we can replace those two. The task manager. So remember, our task manager takes in a column because we want to align these things in a vertical arrangement. So this one will have an image with a painter resource r.drawable. The task. Remember, we need to add content description. You can just leave it null for now. And we have a text with a text and another text with a text. So we go back here, just pick this text. So all tasks completed. Just go back here, and then we're gonna say some nice work. So put this one here and say just nice work. So same thing, we need to extract this to resources, and then we can also need to extract these to resources. So we don't need to pass these guys here. So the only thing we need to maintain here is inner padding. So task manager, we don't need to pass anything of any kind here. So we don't need that. So we will need to pass in the modifier here, and then we're going to say here dot field max size. Something here, we don't need anything here. So just close that. So ideally, you're almost done. So remember, we need to arrange these to the center and align them horizontally. So let's see what the preview. I don't know why the preview is taking longer than expected. Yes, so as you can see now, we have this. So we can just add our systems here so that we can see what is happening. Show system UI to true, then fit it here. But as of now, everything is just pushed up here. So remember, we said with a column, we can vertically arrange the composable to center. So if we do that, so let's run this first. So I want to show you something. As you can see, it's aligned at the center, but not horizontally. So we can now see horizontal alignment is equal to alignment dot center horizontally. So we expect that this now moves to the center. Yes, and that is it. So you can go now, finish up on this, follow the instructions on this. So set the padding in everything and font size. So the next one is on compose quadrant. So this one here. So this one is a very nice challenge. Actually, I would want you to go and research on how you will do this. So if you get stuck, you can reference, you can go to Git and search for compose quadrant here. So the first compose quadrant. So you should be able to understand this. So just go through it, try to fix it before you go and reference the code. So just go to the branch, search compose quadrant, and you should be able to find a solution. Yes, so let's proceed to our last task. So make sure you first, before you continue with the video, just pause it and finish up with the business card. So for me, we can quickly go through it. So just go to next, just call it a business card app, and then click on finish. I'm gonna close that. So then maximize this one. Yes. So the first thing is we have this column which has the image, this text, and this text. So I won't focus more on the details of text styling and padding. Just want to make sure that we have the right UI, and then you can focus on you can focus on these styles. Just think of how best you can make it look good. Yeah. So for me is we want to build this one separately, and then we will build this one separately. So again, this is a column containing row items, and this one is just a column. So quick win here will be to close on this. Yeah, so you can see we already have this kind of, so we have two components. So the card profile and you can call this one card details. And inside the card profile, probably we have an image spaced by, let's say around HTTP. And then this one, we have a column, the parent column in red, and now the row in blues. So let's get started. So first things would be, let's say call it business profile. So within the business profile, we would want to have a column. So we can just call this one business card app. And then we will quickly create it here. So composable business card app, just leave it as default there. And then for this one, we can preview our business card here. Of course, it takes nothing here. So we can just pass in, modifier here, modifier dot padding of inner padding. So I think we're okay up to that point now. So we can open up our preview window. So we can see we have a column. So we go to the Android logo and find the image. So download it and then import it in your project. Just same as what we've been doing. Kotlin, resources. So go to resource manager, add, import drawables. Yes, so once you've imported your logo, so you just come here and say, we have an image, image composable, which takes in painter resource, which is going to say painter resource, r.drawable. The Android logo. And we need, of course, to have the content description. You can just give it null for now. And this image, we can give it a size of, if you go back to our project, so we can give it a size of maybe 100. So we're going to say modifier equal to modifier dot size of 100. So if we say 100, a size of 100, this means we want to have, I don't know why this preview is taking so long. So we want to have a square, a ratio square of 100 height and width of 100. So again, we have two texts. So we're gonna say about text, and just gonna duplicate this text that says, you can just give it as Team Zone, and then another text here which says developer relations Android. Yes, correct. The other one will be, so we're actually done building this, so we can actually center it. So with remember with the columns, so we can say modifier equal to modifier dot fill max width. Yes, so you can see we have these this image. So so for this we can add a background. So you can say dot background color, and then you can see color. We can just have a random. So you can take a random color here. Let's take this one. So copy, and then come here and paste it. Oops. So it's almost green. So I'm going to click on this icon here. So it's a blue color. Yeah, something like that. You can say you want to vertically arrange this. So you want to say a vertical comma. A vertical arrangement is arrangement of center, and horizontal alignment. So you just come here and say horizontal alignment is alignment of center horizontally. So you can see now we've centered the entire this one here, the entire column here. So now we can now build the row. So we can call it business profile. So this one is business card app. So actually, you have to move this here, but we can just rename it. So the other one would be to build the business. We can call it business card details. So remember, this is a column that has row components as a row. So we could just ideally duplicate this. So we have 3 rows where, or we can just build another component which will hold the icon and everything else. But just to simplify it, so I've actually done that in the repo. So you'll just go and confirm, just check that. So for this, we have an icon, which is can just give it as image vector. So my image vector is icon. So we will need to add a dependency here. So for icons, we will need to use material 3. So for this, just gonna do, so this is where we can now learn how to use AI. So I'm just going to pop in this one. So I'm just gonna say add dependency for material 3. Just go back to the main activity. As you can see now, we have icons dot field dot. I think the first one was call. I don't know why it keeps repeating itself here. And then you're gonna have, of course, the content description, just a call. And then you're gonna have a text which says the phone number. So I'm just gonna randomly put some text here saying +2547 blah 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 700 for 32 310. So the same thing again. Let me just duplicate this. Take this, copy, paste and paste here. So the other one was for share and email. So I'm just gonna say the last one was email, and then this one for share. Say so at Android Dev and email. So I'm just gonna say this text here will be teams@google.com. Of course, not an official email, just random text there. This one will be at Android Dev. Given that we've completed these business details, now we can come here and say we have these, create another composable. Actually, let's just create another composable, saying now the business app. So for this one, we can now preview the business app instead of just previewing the card itself. So you can preview the business app now. So we come back here and say we can now have a column that will host our business card app and our business card details. So business card details, let's see, what is it taking here? So we don't need to take any name. Card details. So here we can say modifier equal to modifier dot fill max size. Business card. So sorry, I think I had missed something. Yeah, so you can see now we have this one here, and then we have the card details here. So what I'm going to do here is so I'm going to align this here. So I'm going to say modifier here. So we're going to do vertical arrangement. It's got alignment.center, and then horizontal alignment is alignment.center horizontally. So let's run the app and see. Now remember, we had talked about something called weights. So I'm going to add modifier here. Space actually, not so spacer. With a modifier dot weight of 1F. And then we run the app. So this means between the top and the last, between these two reusable components, there will be space. If we now duplicate this so that we ensure we have space between the last guy and this other guy. So let's see what happens. Yeah, so you see now this much space here, and now this none space at the top. So we need to move that up, then move this there. Now let's run. So it should be now good. So you can now focus on, yeah, you can see now we have an Android developer here and this. So we can add some, for this one, business card details, we can add some padding, bottom padding. So we can just say modifier dot padding. Bottom is, we can do 20 dp. And then just to push it a little bit to the top. So you can see we now have some spacing here. So just say modify equal to modifier. Just spin it up. And then we're going to add, so I want to make this one independent, so we don't have to pass this modifier here. So we can do maybe approximately 40, then spin the app. Yeah, you see it now looks almost as the UI, so you can focus on material theme, making it bold, some spacing here. And then, yeah, you can clean this up a little bit so that we don't have all these raw things. So we can just create a reusable component for this. Yes, and that is it for Unit 1. So in Unit 2, we get to learn more about interactivity, making the app more interactive. Just call it quadrant, then finish. So I'm just going to close this one, maximize this. And if you go to this, so I want you to know something here. So we have a column and we also have a row. So, and inside one of these, so we can create a component, a reusable component, so that we can reuse it here, 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 and here. So the only thing that is changing is the color and the text and the description. So it looks like we do also have text justification. So from the look of things. So we're going to start off by building the component first and then reusing the entire component. So we've been given of some color codes here to use and then some text to use here. So yeah, as you can see, we have a bold for the titles and the normal text for description. Yes, so ideally that is it. So we can just go back to our Android Studio now and go to home, just main KT, and then we can say, can call this on a quadrant component. So we will be reusing the quadrant component inside our quadrant app. So I'm just gonna remove this. So the first thing is our quadrant here takes the entire space available. So this one, we have a column, so the title and the description. So I'm going to have a column, so we can actually just preview this here. Let's see, enter there. So it's going to have a title of type string and a description of type string. Of course, we're gonna leave the modifier parameter there, and then so we're gonna have a text. Let's say text. The text will be the title. Also, we have another text which is the description. So we can pick just one sample here. So we can say we want to pick this one here, and then just use it for preview and say there, and then just take the description. So copy that, paste there. So if we now open and rebuild this, refresh, so we should be able to find this column. So again, we just need to say, as you can see, we have this. You can say this one will be modifier dot fill max size. So if you refresh now, it should take the entire screen. And then from this design, everything is centered horizontally and vertically. So we're gonna say vertical arrangement is arrangement of center, and then horizontal. We've talked about this. Horizontal alignment is alignment of center horizontally. So we expect that everything now moves to the center. Yes, and then of course this text just fit in. It will automatically align. So it's shifting to the start because we haven't added the padding. And if you look at this, we have padding of set the quadrant to start everything a padding of 16. So we can add our column here. You can see dot padding of 16.dp. I'm going to refresh this. Yes, and see we now have a padding of 16. We do also need some padding here of that is 16 and the default padding size. So between these two text is number 3 is from other text. And check it sets its padding bottom to 16 dp. So for the first text, we want to add some modifier and say modifier dot padding bottom of 16.dp and then comma. So let's refresh and see. Yeah, and then this you can see this one is the text size is bold. So everything is the second size is default. So the first text is bold and is set to 16 dp of padding. So we can have font style. So it's font weight. Yes, I'm gonna say font weight dot bold. So I'm gonna refresh it. Yes. So I think we're all set for our reusable components now. So we can reuse these inside the main quadrant app. So we can actually say here, we can pass in our modifier so that we're able to use it to reuse it somewhere else. So we can create another composable, call it quadrant app. So remember, in our design, so we can have the column as the parent and then have the rows this way. So remember, it's taking half the script, so 50%. So for this, we will use something called weight. So if we have these two rows and we assign a weight of 1 to this, we are telling the row to just take the entire space. But if we assign a weight of 1 on this and 1 of this, we're just telling the UI, just take half of what is available. That's exactly what we will be doing here. So let me just say quadrant app, then modifier dot padding of inner padding. So back to our app now. So we can have a column as the parent container. Then we want to say modifier equal to modifier dot fill max size. Now we can now go here and say we now want to preview this. Now this one, remember again, there's something we forgot. We have description. Of course, we don't want to put modifier as the last guy and format it. So for this quadrant component, we forgot to add the background color. And for us to pass the background color, for it to make it reusable, so we're going to add here. So let's say back, let's call it background color of type color. So we're going to say modifier dot background and then pass in our background color. So what is the meaning? I think that is all. So if we now go back to our component here, so we're going to say we need a row that will hold the quadrant component with the title of the first title was just go here, text composable. Yes, and then the description here, copy, and then see just add a comma here, description there, and then we need a color. So the next item is background color is color, and add the hexa code here. Yes, so this is how you add the hexa code color. Remove this. And if we now preview our quadrant app here this way and refresh, we expect, yes, this is it now. The other thing is this quadrant of ours has some modifier padding. No, we just fix that later. So copy this so that we have two rows. And then just refresh this. Let's see how it looks like. No changes because we need to specify, we need to tell this row to take in a modifier dot weight of modifier dot 1f. Then again on this quadrant, we need to say modifier equal to modifier dot weight of 1f, comma. We need to copy this, paste it here, and then refresh. Let's see what is happening now. So you see, we now have two text composable. So we need to replace this other background color here with this one. So just replace that, and then this one is now image composable. We're gonna replace this with image composable, and then a description part of it, copy, and then just click here, say this, and then paste it there, and then make sure we add a comma. So let's see. Yeah, we now have a text and an image. So if we go back here, we see we have a text and image. So we're actually going to just copy this, copy, and paste it here. So we expect now that we have 4 quadrants. That is amazing. So we're going to continue, change the color for this. Just change color here. And then change color for the last one. Just come back here, replace that. Then we have a row composable here. So you can see we have a row composable. The other one is a column composable. Just here, see, column composable. Definition of the row composable, same thing. Just gonna do this, add a comma, and place it there. Same thing here for the quadrant of the column. So I'm just gonna do this and add it there, and of course add a comma. So if I do not refresh, so I expect that now my quadrant is complete. So we have text, row, column, and everything else. So there's one problem. We can just add a text justify. So the beautiful thing about building reusable component is, so imagine we had to change, if we had to change the text justification here, go to here, change justification everywhere. So the only thing we need to do here is on the description, we just need to come here and say text alignment is text alignment dot justify. And if we refresh now, you will see everywhere adapts to the text justification. So for our column, we need to remove these 16 dB padding. Yeah, just to make sure that we are now taking the entire space, and now add padding to our text, the description text. So I'm gonna say modifier equal to modifier dot padding of 16, padding horizontal padding of 16 dB. Then add a comma here. So if we now refresh, yeah, you can see now that everything is matching the design as expected. So if there anything you change, so I don't think we need to actually do padding here. So we can just remove this here. So if you refresh here, I want you to note something. Here, we need to add padding. Okay, dot padding of 16 as it was before. And if you refresh, you see the differences here. So the thing is, if you add a background color after the padding, so you are not able to get the exact design as expected. So what you need to do here is you just need to have this after this one. Yes, so again, the order of how you specify your params of the composable matters. Yes, so that is it for the quadrant. So you can finish up the business card design. Just follow the standards of how things are going. So if you get stuck, you can go to Git and check out, it's called, I think, business card. Yes. Just check out this. I think also the README is there. So, but first, make sure, pause on the video, work on it. So if you get stuck, you can now do the referencing. So I'll see you in Unit 2.